Hello everyone and welcome to the Smashi Business Show. Today is Monday, September 29, 2025 and I'm Abdul Majid Awan.
And I'm Warid Ahmed, and we've got a packed show for you today. First up, France has allegedly pressured Telegram to remove Moldovan channels, according to Pavel Durov. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman meets the UAE president to strengthen AI collaborations. And Lebanon's former central bank chief Riad Salameh was released on a $14 million bail, and Dubai-born SQUATWOLF has launched their first international flagship in Qatar.
And these are very interesting stories. But first of all, Telegram founder, Emirati citizen, and one of the geniuses in tech right now, Pavel Durov. He's the Middle East's youngest and richest billionaire, also with a net worth of $17.1 billion, according to Forbes. By July 2025, has accused French intelligence of trying to pressure him into censoring Moldovan channels ahead of elections.
Durov said that while he was in Paris, an intermediary approached him, asking him to remove certain channels for the Moldovan government. He wrote on X, "About a year ago, French intelligence services asked me to help the Moldovan government censor certain Telegram channels."
And some flagged channels that violated Telegram's rules were removed, Durov said, but later requests targeted legitimate voices. That's what Pavel Durov is saying. Their only commonality was that they voiced political positions disliked by the French and Moldovan governments.
The French Foreign Ministry on X rejected Durov's claims, noting he has made similar accusations before. After Romania, Moldova, Durov likes making accusations while elections are ongoing, it said, referring to previous claims about Romanian channels.
And an Emirati citizen, Durov, was arrested in France in August 2024 over allegations his platform enabled illegal activity. He was released on bail, barred from leaving, but briefly returned to Dubai in March 2025 on a short-term permission. And then he went back, and he's again, I think, country bound. The country is a jail that he's in.
Yeah.
But I think it's again the same argument with this story of free speech. How much do you allow people to talk about? What do you allow people to talk about? How bad can they say something is? It's all about freedom of speech. We see on X, one of the most recent platforms after Elon Musk took over, that they're kind of like the torchbearer of freedom of speech. They want to say that, oh, whatever you have as an opinion, just come and say it. So you see a lot of extremist voices, racist voices, a lot of other kinds of voices on X, just having a free hand and doing whatever they want and saying whatever they want.
But right? I think with this Pavel Durov X post, it's interesting because he seems to be speaking about something in the past.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that he's bringing up now. By the way, I do have to mention that he also happens to be an Emirati citizen, and I believe that he received that because he decided to set up Telegram's headquarters in the UAE. And, you know, just like on the topic of that, I think it should be discussed because I think the fact that you have Pavel Durov, #1 free speech, fighter, protester on social media, setting up his headquarters in the UAE does speak a lot about how the UAE is, because I know that they do face they do face some claims that there's no free speech. Majid, did you see that story that one? I believe it was you who sent it, where it was like no taxes.
Yeah.
I remember it. I forgot.
Such a weird way to say it.
I really forgot which media group it was.
Yeah.
But basically, it was just saying that, like, please find it. But I think the fact that Pavel Durov, he's set up here and he's like the #1 fighter of free speech, I think that does speak to a lot. And like, on this topic of censorship, on this topic of apps, it shocked me in the morning. I was looking at this video, and it was of the Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu who is wanted by the International Criminal Court for war crimes.
Yeah.
He basically was, I believe, in the U.S., and he was being interviewed by American influencers. Don't even ask me why this is going on. And he had basically said that weapons change over time. Weapons now are becoming social media, and that one of the most important purchases right now that is happening is TikTok. And the reason why I'm specifically bringing this up is because we're seeing how Telegram is really fighting against censorship, and we're seeing how with TikTok right now, the complete opposite is going on, because the Americans are going to take it over. Oracle, Silver Lake, they're going to get their 15% stake. It almost does pose that question, is there going to be censorship? I think for me, with MGX taking a role, I'd like to argue that I don't really think it's about censorship. I think it's about the fact that they're trying to increase their investments in the U.S.
Yeah, it's such an interesting story that you were talking about. The headline...
Please say the headline.
Yeah, the
you guys
headline
must
says,
hear it.
no tax, no crime, but no free speech. Would you move to Dubai? And this was by The Times. I was just reading about it. The Times is basically owned by the Thomson Organization. If you don't know Thomson Organization, they're one of the oldest media houses. It's kind of a merger of two big organizations and newspapers. And then they bought Reuters, I think, back in the day, I think at least 15, 20 years ago. So it became Thomson Reuters. Reuters was always Reuters. They bought it, and now it's Thomson Reuters. So it's one of the biggest media houses, which is US. Thomson is US based, Reuters is British, and The Times is also a British daily. So it's kind of like the two superpowers of the West saying, no this, but no free speech. I would give up free speech for safety right now.
Yeah.
Again, Shaira, my wife, she just came back from London. I can't even imagine when yesterday or day before yesterday, she was there for 4 or 5 days. She went out of the hotel and she was like, I'm in a crowded area, so I'm going to put my phone down in my pocket in the bag, which was inside a bag. She was so scared. So imagine a girl...
Can't blame her.
Right? In Dubai, you keep your iPhones, like the new iPhone 17 on the table just to book the table and just walk away.
I
right?
do that. I do that all the time to go get
Everyone
food.
does that. And imagine then people say that, oh no, this is... Bro, it's worst case scenario. Let's take the worst case scenario. Let's just say this headline is completely true. There's no free speech. I would trade that for my safety, security, every single thing that I get here, I will get it. Today in the morning, I had to run around a lot. But when last trip from home to office, I was coming here, this thought actually came to my mind, because in Pakistan, if I had to take all these trips, which I took in the morning to airport and this and that, and drop my son at home, it'll take me at least 3 hours, not because of the traffic and everything, but just because I will have to take care of everything. I'll have to park my car and make it safe, and then not the phone this. And there's 1 million safety issues that I would have to think about. But in the morning, I was just dropping, picking, dropping. It takes the mental pressure away.
Yeah.
So I don't mind, even if you're saying there's no free speech, which you claim, I wouldn't mind to trade it for all the things that I get.
No, but why are you complaining if you don't have to pay taxes? If you think about it.
Don't come then. Thank you very much. We're fine.
Imagine, you know what's even more interesting is that, remember that story that happened a while ago that was it was so famous in the UK, and it had to do with Dubai, and it was about that British teen. Remember that story?
Oh, yeah.
The 18-year-old, the 17-year-old who had a romance during the summer, and it was the mother. It was the mother of the girl who complained about the boy to the police. And it's almost funny that they're writing headlines like this, but it's actually your people who come to this country and love that they can make such complaints, and that they can, you know what I mean? They can make such complaints, and they can go make such matters big.
If you deep it, as word says, I don't know, it's become a part of my vocabulary now, if you deep it. Just look at the scenario. British government has a big problem right now. All the millionaires and billionaires are moving out. Be it Middle East or be it Europe. Someone is going to Spain, someone is going to Italy, someone is just going away. Then a British daily comes up with this headline. they know people are moving out, not because of free speech or not because of safety. The biggest problem is their tax that they have the word knows the word better. Non-domiciled tax.
Yeah.
People who actually are not nationals or don't live here, they even, and the properties that they have outside, they have to pay the tax in UK also now. So it's very complicated. You're making their lives complicated, and then you're questioning their move to the Middle East because oh no, there's no free speech. Bro, what do I do with the free speech that you have? If I don't have safety for my money, for my family, for anything, for even investments. If I've done investments, I've made money outside of your country, why would I pay tax on that? So it's a lot complicated. It's a very deep-rooted issue which the British, again, now let's say it's propaganda because you're trying to scare people away from here, or you can't say anything when you go there.
Do you think it perhaps has to do with the ownership? Because
Yeah,
the Times,
it's a British daily.
No, but
they
the
get ads
Thompsons-
from government.
Not the British Daily, but the Times. The Thompsons actually sold it to Rupert Murdoch.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of subsidiaries that are involved. I believe it's News Corp, which owns News UK. But it's like I truly do think that this is a form of propaganda, like you say, Majid. And I think this is why more than ever, this is why changes like seeing Al-Walid bin Talal leave, what's it called? Leave News Corp and actually move on to Snapchat, move on to X. That's why we're seeing these changes happen. I think what intrigued me, Majid, was, when I was taking a look at the time where you had Al-Walid bin Talal, who was holding shares in News Corp, along with Rupert Murdoch. In fact, for like 2 decades, Al-Walid bin Talal was fighting to make sure that Rupert Murdoch remained the largest stakeholder. He would always cast the vote for him. And I think that now you don't have the Saudi prince with him. You have the Saudi prince siding with Elon Musk, siding with X, where he holds the second largest shares, where you have people like Pavel Durov coming in and sharing what's going on with them. I think it's so interesting how the entire dynamic has changed. I think it brings a lot into, like, it makes a lot make sense.
Yeah. And the comment section on that post was so interesting. I read those comments and I put it in one of our groups saying that why would you frame it like that? There is no need to frame it like that. Just say there is no tax and no crime. And a lot of people, they actually were talking to a lot of influencers and the people who've actually made the switch. And when you go and read the article, it is paywalled, but maybe pay £1 or £2. Again, pay £1 or £2 to them to just read about it. Just read it and you'll realize. I had a fun free article, so I read it. But all of them said good things. So if you're like the people that you interviewed, they're saying good things, that there's no tax, no crime, no this, there's safety, blah, blah, blah. Why would you put the idea of free speech in the headline? It doesn't make sense. You're just clickbaiting people into believing something. And a lot of people don't read beyond the headline. They don't have time.
Majid, I saw something where, the chicken shop lady, Amelia, her show, it's really quite great. She was on this interview and you know what she basically said? She was like, I think that in the UK and Britain, I think that people should see influencing as a legitimate career. And she basically discussed how a lot of influencers there are struggling to get mortgage because social media influencing is not seen as a legitimate career. And then, here in the Middle East, you have all of these HQs that are open, you have all these majlises that are open, the creators HQ here that is providing these influencers with benefits they've never seen before.
And golden visas.
Yeah, so I think it's like when you see that difference, like it does make sense.
Yeah. So it's a very, very long discussion. We can go on for 2 hours about it, that how the West is not happy with why people are moving to Dubai or UAE or the Middle East. They're moving for some reason. Just go find that out. Stop doing propaganda. But let's come back to the UAE and again, see they're doing great things. OpenAI CEO Sam Altman, he recently met UAE President His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan in Abu Dhabi to discuss closer cooperation in artificial intelligence research and applications. The meeting at Qasr Al Shati focused on aligning OpenAI's work with the UAE's vision for a knowledge-driven AI ecosystem.
The UAE is aggressively building a knowledge-based AI economy to reduce dependence on oil and enhance its global position. Now, key priorities include supporting local AI research, fostering government-private collaboration, and creating international partnerships, as we have seen with Stargate UAE, which is going to be the largest data center outside of the US, which is being built in collaboration with OpenAI.
Yep. In recognition of his influence in AI, MBZUAI awarded Sam Altman its first honorary doctorate. He's American. He should have gotten a doctorate from an American university, a British university. He could have gotten it from anywhere. No one thought about it. UAE thought about it. So just see how proactive they are. And the award highlights his role in advancing AI, promoting innovation across research, technology, and business, and supporting global talent development in the field of artificial intelligence.
And based in Abu Dhabi, MBZ UAI is the world's first graduate-level AI research university, which is trying to build international AI talent and leadership. Now, a major part of the UAE's strategy, it is really going to serve as a backbone for AI growth across industries and applications.
Yeah, very important. And the UAE is using AI to modernize and preserve Arabic, also developing digital dictionaries, linguistic tools, and region-specific models. Internationally, the country strengthens AI ties with US, recently announcing joint AI campus, as we told you, in Abu Dhabi, which will boost both technological and diplomatic cooperation. And it was announced when Mr. Trump was here earlier in the year. So you just have to realize, see, no one thought of it. They thought of it. No one thought of having a graduate level AI university. UAE has it. It's very government funded. It's not making profits right now. Everyone has started questioning, oh, how does it happen? But they're taking international students. We were talking about it, remember, on Friday, that you go to US, UK, and you pay 3 times, 4 times the fee which a local pays, right? And here in MBZ UAI, you're actually paid to come and study. Imagine. This is how this part of the world is working. They're not focusing on making money from an educational institution. They're focusing on spending money on creating talent. And then people are like, no crime, no this, no free speech. It's so weird. Actually makes me angry, to be honest, that people go to this length to just malign this part of the world. It's not just that I'm a Muslim and we have Arab heritage just because of our religion also. It's just that they're doing it for no reason, because people now hate them and they're just moving out. So they're like, let's try to find some bad thing and just highlight that. So weird. But yeah, he got a PhD. He's a doctor now. He can call himself Dr. Sam Altman.
But I really think it's all for the planning. I really do think so. That's probably the reason why he was there, because in the meeting, it wasn't just the president of the UAE, it was also His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon, the National Security Advisor. So I think that we're definitely going to hear very exciting announcements soon. And another announcement over the weekend that was really a shocker for many is that Lebanon's longtime former central bank chief, Riad Salameh, was released on a $14 million bail on Friday after spending a year in detention awaiting trial on corruption and embezzlement charges. The court imposed a travel ban and denied his request for release without bail.
And Salameh served as Lebanon's central bank governor, just here 30 years. So he spent the time when Bashar al-Assad was there.
The first one in Lebanon, by the way.
Yeah, and he stepped down in 2023 amid allegations of financial crimes. He initially gained recognition for stabilizing the economy after the civil war and maintaining stability during periods of political gridlock and economic turbulence.
He faces multiple criminal cases locally and internationally. Charges include the embezzlement of $42 million and illicit enrichment tied to renting an apartment in France, allegedly as a backup office leased from a former romantic partner for around $500,000 annually.
And during detention, the 75-year-old Salameh's health deteriorated, as it always happens with people who go into detention. That's the best reason. And he required hospitalization outside Beirut because he never tried to fund or finance a hospital in the country.
Man, this is so ironic.
Yeah, it happens. It's if you look at the history of people who are detained for corruption charges, as soon as they go into detention or jail, their health deteriorates, and then they spend their time in hospitals because better than jails. But investigators questioned him after posting bail, requesting documentation to prove the funds were not from illegal sources, while his lawyers insisted all evidence supporting his innocence had been provided.
And Salameh's lawyer, let's see what he has to say. Mark Hapka said the Lebanese people deserve clarity. If Riad Salameh is involved, he will be convicted. If others aren't involved, they will be convicted. If he is innocent, he will be acquitted, he told journalists following the release. I'm not sure that's the best. I'm really not sure that's the best answer to have.
Even his lawyer is confused. He's like, I don't need to take a side. I don't need to say he's innocent. I just need to say, if he's acquitted, he's clean. If he's not, we'll see. So it's very interesting that this has happened. This is not a very business story, but it's just to show you that all these countries that we see in the Middle East, which could have been something, which are still called potential.
Lebanon definitely is a big something.
Yeah, no, but Lebanon could have been the Dubai, Saudi Arabia, or Qatar of the Middle East easily with the amount of talent that they have won. So you need a lot of talents like human capital. You need that. You need good places. You need tourism. You need a good economy. You just need a very nice country with fair and uncorrupt rulers. Lebanon could have been the first maybe Saudi or UAE. It had the potential even before we know about UAE.
I don't think that's fair to say, Majid, because if you think about it, with the UAE, as great as they are, not a while ago they were pearl divers, and Lebanon was actually quite ahead of them. And I don't think that this is a case of Lebanon being ahead or Lebanon being behind or the UAE being ahead or behind. I think, I think right now with the UAE, they're not just doing better than other Middle Eastern countries, but in fact, many countries in the world, globally, they're really, taking that first place. But I think with Lebanon, it's not quite fair to say that, because, the country, the kind of, their infrastructure, the kind of land that they have, the history that they have, it's really quite beautiful. I think with the story that Sally Hafiz, the woman who robbed her own savings a few years ago, she's probably somewhere in Turkey right now, really mad that this man has been set out on bail. What's interesting about this is a while ago, I actually saw that he was released on bail with $12 million, and that this is actually an update. The amount has gone up to $14 million. I just think with this entire story, I do hope that justice is served. I think that a lot of people have suffered because of this, and it wasn't even just your own, the local Lebanese people. We saw the protests. It was the billionaires. It was people like Khalaf al-Habtour who wanted to completely leave the country. And hey, I'm not saying that I feel bad for billionaires. I'm just saying, that if you have billionaires leaving countries, they're taking their wealth with them. They're taking their wealth with them. They're taking their infrastructure with them. He was almost going to slice up the hotel and ship it off. So I think that it's going to be interesting to see the development here.
As we're talking, I just got an email. It's a newsletter from Telegraph. And funnily, just read the headline of the email. Contribute or leave the UK. Migrants told. This is just the email headline. Imagine if I go down, it's some lady called Shabana Mahmood. She's planning to, I think, she is taking part in, I think, some of the elections. I'll read the full story, but this is the situation. Expats here are considered equals. We recently on Love in Dubai, I saw a very nice share of a guy who said that a lot of he was an Emirati, I think he was in a podcast, and he was told that, we have so many Indians, so many Pakistani, blah, blah. And he was like, they're brothers. Let them come. They've helped us build the country. So why not? Let them buy property. Let them do whatever they want. As long as they're contributing to the economy, contributing to the country, helping us build this country, they're our brothers. That is the mentality of the UAE Emirati people. And now look at the UK people. And she's Indian, by the way. She is herself an immigrant to the UK, maybe her family or maybe like someone from her family, but she is still an immigrant I think, third generation or fourth generation,
Yeah.
but she's saying contribute or leave. This is the attitude that they have, and then their publications, their media goes on and says, oh no, UAE, no freedom of speech. This is what you do with freedom of speech? You tell the immigrants to just leave or contribute? This is not how countries are run. If you want people to come and work for you, you want them to do the menial jobs. You want them to be plumbers, decorators, electricians, and all that. All these immigrants, they actually go and have this, do these jobs. You don't want them? No problem. They'll go somewhere else. But then who will do the jobs for you? That is the plight of the developed countries. Even if you go for immigration to Australia, Canada, New Zealand, all
Right.
the major countries which are very famous for immigration, a plumber is paid $200 to $300. We have a person who recently joined us in August, Smashi, Sasha. She's lived in Canada for 4 years, studied there, worked there. I was just talking to her. I was like, when I looked at the hourly rates of plumbers, she's like, yeah, they're very expensive because it's a very limited skill set there. A journalist is paid $30 per hour in Canada. A plumber is paid $200 per hour. So if you have a problem with immigrants, then find someone who can do that job for you. Find them within your country. Don't ask immigrants to come and do the menial jobs. So it's very complicated. These people are like, I don't know what they're trying to do, but it just shows that as their economy is failing, since it's a business show, I'll just talk about economy, not politics, but as their economy is failing, as they're going into more and more debt and more economic problems, they've lost their sense of, their civic sense also. They started treating people like, oh, you're useful, thank you, you're not useful, go away. So this is happening.
Majid, did you
in
see
the
that
West.
video with Tucker Carlson where
Which
he
one?
was basically
With
what he
whom?
was saying? No, it was just him.
Oh.
It's just him speaking, and he said something that really shocked me. He was like, Russia, which for the longest time they've said that they restrict free speech. I forgot the number of years, but he was basically comparing how. Comparatively to the over 3,000
Yeah.
people who were arrested in Russia regarding speaking out politically, in the UK it was over 10,000 people who were arrested, and I was just completely shocked. I mean, the
Makes
numbers
sense.
the numbers are not portrayed the way that they're meant to be.
They're just blown up. It's simple. I just shared a video. You'll get it at 11 on social media. It's a good sign to follow us on all social media. I was going through LinkedIn, and there's this person, Dr. David Rosen von Howell. Very long name, but I think
Yeah.
he's a Swedish guy. He has a startup here, a real estate company. He posted a very interesting video, and where he said very simply, it's hardly a minute, and he makes the point so nicely. The first part is everyone, whenever I'm in Europe, everyone asks who hasn't been to the Middle East. They're like, is Middle East taking us over? And he's like, my answer is, it already has. So, and the second part of the video is, he's like, so people ask me, why is it happening? He's like, the main reason is West has become lazy. That's his words, not mine. And he's like, the West has become lazy. The youth has become lazy, and in the UAE and in the Middle East and in all these countries, when you go and look at the youth, they're hungry for success. They're hungry to become an entrepreneur. They're hungry to contribute to their economy, while the West has become lazy. That's his words. So yeah, you can see the video. It goes live at 11. But imagine people who are outside
Yeah.
of the country and who've come here, they've seen both sides of the world, right?
But that's,
even they know now.
I think that's what's amazing, Majid, is that it's the immigrants, the migrants who are making such beautiful careers for themselves. And,
Yeah.
we've seen this with SQUATWOLF. So the Dubai-born gymwear brand SQUATWOLF has launched its first international flagship at Place Vendôme Mall in Lusail, Qatar. Now, the opening marks the brand's first expansion beyond the UAE and reflects their ambition to grow globally, bringing their Middle East-rooted fitness apparel to a broader international audience.
And co-founder Anam Khalid, who is the wife, and both of them are Pakistani. Makes me quite proud that they're Pakistani. But one of the co-founders, the wife, their husband and wife, Anam Khalid, called the Qatar launch, a defining moment for SQUATWOLF. They said it was too soon. That's what she wrote. They said it was too soon, too ambitious. Last weekend we proved otherwise. This is just the beginning. That's what she said, highlighting the brand's determination to expand despite early skepticism from the market and industry observers.
Founded in 2016 by the husband and wife duo, Wajdan Gul and Anam Khalid, in a Dubai apartment, SQUATWOLF is recognized as the Middle East's first major global gymwear brand. The company now operates 3 stores in Dubai and ships its products to more than 120 countries, gaining an international following.
And SQUATWOLF initially raised $2.3 million from venture builder Disrupt. Later, it secured a minority investment from ASCA Capital, which is expected to commit up to $30 million over time to support the brand's continued growth, store expansion, and international ambitions.
And the Qatar flagship is, signaling the start of SQUATWOLF's global journey. I think with this entire story, I'm excited for them, and I'm so proud of them because, you have both of the founders, this married couple. They're from Pakistan, South Asia, and they've come to Dubai. They've created something that is really successful. They have this founder series, I believe, on YouTube. But I think with them, Majid, you know why their story is so important to me, and I'll explain why this does link to business. I think when you have, this kind of representation, it ushers in a place, a status for more people. I think maybe some people forgot this, but for the longest time ever, the world did not like people of color. Yeah. And we saw this. We saw this in various instances. We saw this in the apartheid in South Africa. We saw this through slavery in America. Yeah. And I feel like now we're particularly seeing it through Sudan. Yeah. You have a civil war that is ongoing. Majid, that more than 12 million Sudanese people have been displaced. Yeah. More than 20 million people in Sudan are going through acute hunger. And it's a while ago, this very big story came out. It was about this young lady. Her name is Gisma. I hope I'm saying her name right. And in Darfur, it's a region in Sudan, she got lynched by an RSF soldier. And when I searched up to see how many people had covered it, it was only one article on it. One article on it from all the outlets, only one, and I think it was France, AFP something. I forgot the channel, but the reason why I'm bringing this up is bringing me to my point of it's when I see something like this, it honestly makes me feel like it's almost like the world does not care about people of color and what they're going through. So it's important that we have business leaders who are people of color, who are of another region, who are South Asian, who can usher in this new era. So we have different spokespersons who can speak up, who can represent, and that representation is so important. Yeah. Because in fact, we don't see it. A lot of these billionaires, a lot of these investors, they're all Westerners. We need to see more of our people, of your people, on the screens. And it's for me, it kind of brings me to my point of when you take a look at the rap industry, the music industry, how people, I remember you mentioned this before, how you said that with rap music, it's so inappropriate. It's so inappropriate. They say certain things they say are just the language that they use. We had this conversation, and for me, Majid, the reason why I'll never come out and I'll say that, Drake is promoting baby mamas or Offset. No, seriously, or Offset is promoting shootings. I do not promote that. The reason why I would never go on to say, oh, this is really wrong or this is really this, because in the end of the day, you have people who are on the stage. And I think that's so important. You have people who are representing, and I think for me with SQUATWOLF, it's so nice to see that
representation,
there's such good representation. Yeah. And the fact that it's the Middle East's first gymwear brand, I think that's something so big.
So our producer Masa is again signaling. I don't know why she's been in the newsroom for the past 2-3 days, but just to complete the point that was made, it's very important that representation is there. And one of the people who talks about this representation is Basim Yusuf. He's coming
Yeah.
on the Love in Dubai show on Thursday. Masa, right? Thursday, right? 8:50 p.m. 8:50 a.m. in the morning. You can watch his exclusive interview with Love in Dubai, our sister brand, our bigger sister brand, and he talks to us about a lot of things. But more importantly, for the show part, he said this thing when the Gaza genocide happened, and everyone remembers the Piers Morgan interview, which laid ground for him to become more of a political commentator. He said that the same thing is happening in Ukraine, but no one bats an eye. They're like, oh, they're white, they're like us, so we'll support them. But when it happens in Gaza, everyone's like, no, maybe something is wrong with the Gazan people. That was the main core of the argument that he made. The very first Piers Morgan interview that he did, and then it followed up with multiple.
But I think things are definitely changing now.
Yeah, so Basim Yusuf, 8:50 Thursday, Love in Dubai show. If you're not following them, just go follow them and hear him say what he has to say.
And that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you for tuning into the Smashi Business Show. Make sure to follow us across all social media channels at Smashi Business and stay ahead with our daily newsletter. You'll find the subscription link in the description.
This has been a Smashi Business Show, Smashi Business production, part of the Augustus Media Podcast Network. A big shout out to our more than 2 million monthly listeners across all platforms. You make this possible. If you're one of them, we appreciate you. Have a great day. And thank you, Kirby, and thank you, Masa, our producer, and thank you, Kirby, our broadcast engineer, and thank you, everyone,
I
for
can't
watching.
tell if it's sorry or thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye. See you tomorrow.